Loretta Lynch has been nominated to be the new Attorney General. Is that a fact? Is she qualified to be the Attorney General? Well, she may be just as qualified as Eric Holder, but that's not saying much. Can we just walk through and examine some things about Miss Loretta Lynch? I'm your host, the Doctor of Common Sense, E.T. Williams. Please visit the website at www.whateverhappenedtoCommonSense.com. Well, it's obvious that some of the liberals would think that Loretta Lynch is qualified to be the Attorney General. This has nothing to do with the race or gender, but let's just start out with that. She went to school with Eric Holder's wife. Do we see a little cronyism taking place here? They were in the same sorority. Yes, there was the chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. They were down over, I believe it was at the Black Harvard sorority. Mrs. Loretta Lynch and Mrs. Holder was over there together. Now, that in itself should not disqualify her. But I do see a little cronyism going on, which I see going on with most politicians. Now, she was up there being cross-examined. And they had the little girl, Lindsey Graham, questioning her. He acts such like a little girl. His high-tone pitched voice. I think they got on the subject talking about partial birth abortion and her support with Planned Parenthood. He asked the question, and then she tries to skate around and say it wasn't about partial birth abortion, but it was about partial birth abortion. And then Senator Graham, the little girl Senator Graham, the cheerleader Senator Graham, wanted to qualify what he was asking. I would just love to pistol whip the living hell out of Lindsey Graham. I would put some bass in your voice. You'll come out sounding like Barry White after a good pistol whipping. But he decided to ask her a specific question about her supporting Planned Parenthood and this partial birth abortion. Now, some of you may not know what partial birth abortion is. Could I explain it to you, please? A partial birth abortion is a procedure when the baby is born partially. The baby is pulled out of the womb, partly way out of the womb. There are scissors inserted in the baby's skull, and the brain is sucked out. Such a loving procedure. Now, while anyone in their right mind would try to justify this particular procedure is beyond me. I mean, this is such a barbaric practice. Sound like some of those cavemen from Afghanistan would be doing. But over here in a civilized cappuccino-sipping society like the U.S., you would think that something as barbaric as partial birth abortion should not even be a law. He asked Miss Loretta Lynch about her support of this particular bill, and she tries to justify. She says, yes, I was one of a number of former Department of Justice officials who signed it, although this particular brief that was signed focused on the issue of the facial issues of the law. See, I can't stand when people try to dress up a certain situation, and Lindsey Graham, who is not really trying to pin her to the wall with partial birth abortion, his only concern is that the only reason I ask, he says, I mention this because I want, just in case the Republican president down the line want to do something again, want to nominate somebody who's against abortion, my friends on the left will be advocate to do this. Fool, they're not going to try to they're not going to let you do it just because you give in to their all their whims. They're not going to have the same type of pacification as you have. But I do like the way Loretta Lynch tries to dance around this issue. A bunch of lawyer talk when she says the issue was focused mainly on the facial issue of the law. See, I would have told her, stop now. Could you interpret what you mean by the facial issue of the law and how it might impact the perception of the law enforcement discrepancies? See, I'd have cut all through that. I want to know, do you think partial birth abortion is a barbaric type of procedure? That's what I want to know. Forget all this issues of the facial issues of the law. That ain't nothing but lawyer talk to say that you're trying to advocate babies being drug out, scissors stabbed in their head, their brain being sucked out, them thrown in the trash like a piece of meat. I want to know personally, are you for partial birth abortion? Do you think it is a barbaric type of procedure that we should be practicing in a civilized country? That's my question. And if you are saying they should be practiced because you don't want to tell a woman what to do with her body, well, I don't know if you're qualified to be the Attorney General because you need to be able to take some steps. Should the Attorney General have some type of moral compass on what they stand for? That's my question to you. Lindsey Graham lets it off because he wants to know just in case the Republicans later on try to put somebody on up there to be nominated and they're against abortion. Are you going to give me what I want, going with his head in his hand? You sissified bastard, you. What kind of pacification question is that? He's apologizing before he even says anything. Now, that is not even the worst thing that the heifer said. No, it may be the worst thing she said. Let me take that back. This may be the worst thing she said. But another statement that makes it just as bad is that she was asked about illegals coming over and be having a right to work in America. The illegals. Operative word is illegal. She says, Senator, I believe the right and the obligations to work is one that is shared by everyone in this country, regardless of how they came here. Skirt! Pump the brakes, pump the brakes. Do we have laws in this country, yes or no? Does the law say that it's illegal for you to come to this country illegal? Is that a law in the book? Is it your job to uphold the law or try to interpret the law or what you seem is right? Now, you didn't have an opinion about the partial birth abortion. You hadn't studied that law long enough, so you didn't really want to talk about those things. Do you think illegals are supposed to be coming over here illegally when that's against the law? Is it against the law or not? So if it's against the law, your job as the Attorney General is to uphold the law, not interpret the law. I know this thing is getting a little clogged up because of who the president is, but it's pretty obvious that the illegals do not have the same right as American citizens. So you're agreeing, or you're saying that the illegals should have the same right that all American citizens have in this country? She was asked this question by Jeff Sessions. Who has a greater right to work, illegal aliens or lawful immigrants? This is his question. Certainly if someone is here, regardless of status, I would prefer that they participate in the workplace. In other words, the illegals have just as much right to be working as you have, even though they came over to the damn country illegal. I'm done. She's so unqualified that she's the same qualified as Eric Holder. Matter of fact, can we get some procedures? Get this bastard locked up for Fast and the Furious? It's a joke.